Welcome back to the commentary track for C for Chaos, the web series as it is now called, originally intended to be an all-encompassing, insane slasher film running at a crisp 90 minutes. Once the final script came in at 285 pages, it was obvious that that 90-minute runtime was but a pipe dream, and there was no way possible to chisel this down into one film. Though, I've always believed in aiming high and kind of coming in low below your goal. I still see that as a way of still reaching much further than people who never try at all. I thought, well, if I can at least get all this footage in the can, we can chisel it down and shape it into something that works. So, unfortunately, there are just so many technical issues that it's almost impossible to make it something palpable to or rather, not palpable, but palatable to the masses. Here we see Art running in. He's just... I was about to say he's just learned something. I'm getting my timeline out of order. But this is interesting. Jimmy is setting up another semi-subplot showing that he's interested in occult circles and cults and that kind of stuff. It's one of the ways to start casting doubts on Jimmy as the potential identity of the numbers killer.
Onan says there's a socio-political zeitgeist going on called the Grand Harumageddon.
The Harumageddon. A lot of the throwaway side subplots are supposed to fuel into the underlying subtext of the film. So even when they say these kind of throwaway lines, you're supposed to pay attention to them. Yeah, so that's why Art is running in. I forgot. It was just the previous episode. He actually wants to help Nene outside. This is one of the necessary characteristics, I think, for a lead character is that you have to make them likable, and they need to be proactive to a certain degree in order to make them interesting and not just seem totally weak and powerless. So Art's wanting to help Nene. The guy's outside puking up blood. Killroy, conversely, says kick him in the teeth. He's just always out there asking for money. The character of Killroy just cracks me up. He could have his own series going on forever and ever and ever. And here you see typical day at the comic book shop. The guy's hanging out in the back just talking crap and working on various things. Jimmy working on a model. You've got Killroy mapping out his paintball wars, and Art's working on his sketches.
Forget all his bullshit because I've got something important to say. Now check this.
Stephen Tucker, who plays Killroy, really rose to the occasion on this. Here he's quoting The Art of War and Sun Tzu.
Sun Tzu, bitch. Sun Tzu? What's that?
Chinese general. Killroy's paraphrasing from Sun Tzu's book, The Art of War.
There you go. I was just about to say that, but Art said it for me.
Shove them up your ass because I'm your strategy.
Steve was great as Killroy. The original characterization of Killroy, he was supposed to be a white guy that pretended to be black, but once Steve took over the role, the characterization kind of mutated. He kind of made it his own, and as I was doing rewrites on the script, I changed it to go along with his characterization, and he really made it come to life. I really enjoy his readings as Killroy. These performances, they're so passionate. It really depresses me to look at the quality of the video footage. I mean, it just has that painful shot-on-video look. Here's Killroy quoting more conspiracy theories, urban paintball, be a patriot. He sounds like he's ready to go join the Oregon militia right now.
It's still going to be our dicks in the dirt when the big black boot comes down.
I think Killroy's been sniffing glue again.
You need to start sniffing glue if that's what it takes to wake you up.
Just sitting glue fart breath.
Hydrochloric acid. I'm trying to set this up for for later in the film, because everything is supposed to be set up and then paid off later, so pay attention. Just like Killroy said. These readings, these scenes with the three guys in the comic book shop is what this series is about, I guess. It's kind of the heart of the series, and really the slasher and killer antics all around it is just to make it into a horror film. But this is what makes it come to life for me, I suppose, is just the interaction between these three guys. And the dialogue just constantly cracked us up on set. I mean, we all had such a hard time keeping a straight face, especially the cameraman, Gio Swanko, which is not a great thing when you have a cameraman with prone to fits of the giggles, because you suddenly lose stability on your camera and the entire shot's ruined. So, but he did an excellent job here, keeping the camera moving, keeping everybody framed in, because Steve was really bouncing around back and forth between Ben and Scott. But the sequence is probably one of Steven's best performances in the film. I mean, he really sold this character and all the just the ridiculous dialogue that I gave him. Now here Killroy's talking about ley lines. Now, since this is an ongoing commentary, people are watching this before they've seen the rest of the series. I love Ben's reading of this line. Ley line sounds like fun. So the idea is that he's setting up the notion that there is some kind of occult significance to the town of Andersonville, with the implication being to the viewers that this perhaps has something to do with why the Numbers Killer is performing these occult ritual slayings.
Hey, it's 12 o'clock. I gotta check my email.
Hey, see if there's any updates on the Numbers Killer.
Gotta see if anybody's checked out the website.
There you see our
Website? What are you talking about?
the t-shirt Ben's wearing, Psycho Killers. That was a custom-made shirt by Gio Swanko. So we tried to avoid a lot of obvious branding, though here we've got Scott standing in front of a wall of X-Men films. There's Gio making a cameo. We just needed a warm body, so he wound up being the boyfriend that walks off set when Art calls Bella.
Bella? Who the hell was that?
This is was this the first scene Amy filmed? No, this is probably the second one, because she did have to go in and shoot the sequence in the opening of the series, where all the characters meet in the comic book shop. I like this. This is an attempt, I suppose, of trying to set up kind of a Kubrickian one-point perspective shot. You'll see that a lot from me. It's not necessarily always conscious that I'm going, oh yeah, let's do this like Kubrick. It's just that you get there on set, we had not seen that apartment until we got there, and it's a matter of, okay, now let's find the best angle we can set up and capture the action of the sequence, and that became, hey, let's throw this one-point perspective over here, and we'll catch all that on tripod, and then go in with the handheld for Amy's close-ups and give us something to cut together. I love Steve and Ben's reactions to what Art is saying, or rather Killroy and Jimmy's reactions to what Art is saying, because they're just kind of making fun of it. Now here, if you're paying attention in the opening of the scene, when Art comes in, Mr. Smith's card there is on the counter, and when Art is on the phone here, it is suddenly in his pocket. That is intentional. It is not a continuity gaffe. The idea is that it's just supposed to have mystically appeared there, whether Art put it there unknowingly or it just teleported into it, like David Blaine did it or something. But he uses it to give him an idea right away. Here's Killroy saying, boy, he pulled that one out of his ass. But Art is in a desperate spot here. He's trying anything he can to get to spend time with his girlfriend, with his ex-girlfriend, rather. During the filming of this, there was a lot of negative feedback within the group and the other producers, specifically Brent, who constantly complained about the relationship sequences. And I found myself kind of at my wit's end having to explain that these scenes were necessary to build the characters. Could they be shortened? Yeah, perhaps everything can be shortened and tightened up. But I felt it was a mistake to just kind of blast through and have only action sequence and killing sequence after killing sequence. You really have to slow down, let the audience kind of absorb some of these nutty conspiracy theories and the ideas of these occult slayings going on, and then also give fodder for the characters. Give them some sunlight to let them grow, and let the audience hopefully identify with them in one way or another. And Amy Lauder just gave such a nuanced performance there as Bella. I mean, I really love the things that she's not saying in that previous sequence. And here Art is pretending that she's still on the phone.
Tell Tomas to learn to pronounce his fucking name right. He's in America now.
The idea is that Bella's new boyfriend is named Tomas. And Scott's like, well, he should be called Thomas, not Tomas.
Fucking spineless jellyfish piece of shit.
There's Killroy. I just love everything that comes out of his
Bitch
mouth.
ass rolled over without even being kissed. Trick ass motherfucker. You
A lot of this interaction between the two characters of Art and Killroy is really kind of a schizophrenic conversation with myself, where I took what I thought was the worst of my reactions to past relationships ending, and I just put them into the script, and I said, here's myself at my worst, acting like a spineless jellyfish. And then Killroy becomes the Jiminy Cricket conscience of this sequence, who is constantly saying, dude, you're better than this, get over it. He doesn't quite say it in those words, obviously. Here's Jimmy finding out more about the Numbers Killer on their website, numberskiller.com, which aggregates news feeds. Exsanguinated. This is the great script writing conundrum. If you put a word in that you want people to understand, somebody on screen has to explain what it is. So Jimmy says it, Art explains it, and Killroy says, I knew that already. Because somebody out there doesn't know what exsanguinated means, but then somebody does. So there we have all of those perspectives represented.
That's fucking insane. What does it say about Emma?
And the idea here was to kind of close this scene with a bit of tension. Hey, Bianca's dead. What happened to Emma? Who knows? Art has to go find out. So there you go. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next time.
Also, if you like us and you share us on Facebook, you'll be helping us spread the word. Remember, we're busy creating our latest and greatest films. Your comments and interest are essential in motivating us to keep this web series coming out every 2 weeks.